Hey, I'm KP Kwan. Welcome back to another episode of Taste of Asian Food. Today I'm going to make some meatball by using pork, but if you do not eat pork, you can always use chicken or even beef as a substitute. And this recipe is not reproduction of any existing recipe. So it is my own interpretation, and as a Cantonese, I think my way of doing it will more skew toward the Cantonese style. So without further ado, let's get started right now. I get the meat from the butcher, which I ask my butcher to ground it for me. Or alternatively, you can buy the meat and mince it yourself at home. Whichever way that you choose, make sure that it contains some fat so that it becomes more juicy and tender. The texture of ground meat by machine is a little different from if you mince it yourself. So for the best result, I'm going to put this ground meat on the chopping board and mince it briefly. After mincing it for a while, now you can clearly see that the texture of the meat has changed, and now it becomes more pasty and more cohesive. That's basically due to the breaking down of the connective tissue in the process, and the result will be juicier and a more tender meatballs. Let's transfer the meat to a mixing bowl, and then we continue the next step. The next step is to peel a few water chestnuts. If you don't have water chestnut, you can use some chopped onion as the substitute. And then wash, cut, and finely chop the water chestnuts. Now let's get back to the ground meat. If you use chicken instead of using pork, I would suggest using chicken thigh meat instead of breast meat, because thigh meat contains more fat and it will not as dry as if you compare with using chicken breast meat. And also I have prepared some other ingredients, some chopped garlic, some chopped ginger, and of course the water chestnuts. Before we combine all this together, I'm going to perform one more step. That is to lift the meat up and bash it down to the bowl repeatedly. This action is called tat in Cantonese. And the purpose is to break down the connective tissue further mechanically so that the meat will become even more juicy and springy. Pretty sure you can see now the texture is significantly different from the ground meat I get it from the butcher. It is now very pasty, very cohesive, and it is not going to stick onto the bowl at all. Now let's add the chopped garlic and ginger and the water chestnuts. After I combine the meat with the garlic, ginger, and the water chestnut, now let's season the meat. Some sesame oil, ground white pepper, salt, sure you need it, a little bit of sugar, some light soy sauce. Let's combine all the ingredients. I also prefer to add a little bit oil. If you use chicken thigh meat, you can add more oil because chicken thigh meat is relatively lean. And lastly, some cornstarch, just to make sure that all the ingredients are stick together properly. Now shape the meat paste to become a ball to the size that you want. You can either use two hands to roll it or just squeeze out this way and take it out. Just form it nicely and it becomes a ball. Once you get a hang of it, it's pretty easy. Just squeeze it out. use your spoon to remove it and shape it, and that's it. Now there are a few choices how to cook it. The simplest way is to put it into water with some noodles to make noodle soup, or pan fry it and serve it with a sauce, or bake it in the oven. Now I want to make a simple sauce to serve along with the meatballs by using some simple ingredients. It's an adaptation of the traditional Chinese BBQ sauce called char siu jiao. So this is maltose. If you don't have maltose, you can use honey as a substitute. Sugar. It is a sweet and savory sauce, so you do need some sugar. Either white or brown sugar will do. 1 piece of the fermented red bean curd. That's the fermented red bean curd. This stuff will give an extra kick to the sauce, but if you don't have it, you can omit it. And then light soy sauce, little bit of dark soy sauce, oyster sauce, and then hoisin sauce. This is the hoisin sauce. Some wine, which is optional. I make a little bit more sauce than what is actually required, and I can keep it for other purposes. Then mix all the ingredients. Then transfer it to a pan. And add a little bit of water. Then bring it to a boil and concentrate it a little bit, and the sauce is done. Let's pan fry some meatballs. When the meatballs turn golden, I'll then cover it for another 2 minutes just to ensure that the internal is fully cooked, because it is quite large. Or if not, you can always use the kitchen thermometer to check the doneness. Drizzle some char siu sauce on it. And some spring onion. Alternatively, you can cook the meatballs in water over low heat. The meatballs are cooked when they float to the top. And you can serve it with soup noodles. That's how to make the Asian style meatball, and I hope you will love it. It is so versatile that you can either blanch it with water, bake it, or pan fry it, whatever way that you like. And I have included the recipe in the description below the video, and please subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again in some other similar video soon. Bye for now.